Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited today to have a conversation with Sarah, who is owner of Soul Seed Academy here in my current state of Utah. And she has helped so many entrepreneurs to kind of get started, purpose-driven individuals who want to start a business in a variety of different fields. She has also helped me to get DPC Pediatrician off the ground. And I greatly appreciate all of her help in that. She, in the process of helping entrepreneurs and in the process of having her own business, she has had the experience of hiring tons of people and also having what she calls come to deity conversations with people when things don't seem to be working out very well. And so today I'm really delighted to have this conversation talking about how once you get to the point as an entrepreneur that you need help, whether that's a virtual assistant or an in-person assistant, medical assistant, whatever it is you need, how is it that you find the right people? How is it that you lead and train the people in order to do what you need them to do? And then how do you keep them on track when things start to maybe go a little awry? So welcome, Sarah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I'm super excited to dive into this. I'm passionate about building not just awesome businesses, but cultures, company cultures, because my motto is life is hard enough, work shouldn't be harder. And that if I can actually create a workspace where my employees feel like this is less stressful to be at work than it is to be at home or the rest of their life, then we have totally won. So I always tell my team that I have their back over any customer, that we have our backs. The customer is never right when it's an argument between staff and customers if we have a culture of trust and good communication. So that way, if something happens with a customer, that there's a complaint or something, I can go to that team member and say, okay, here we have a problem, and dive right into problem solving instead of stroking their ego, making sure they're okay, or making them feel unsafe because they think they're going to be in trouble because this customer is mad. You build this culture of safety within your organization, and it serves you for miles. You don't have to deal with drama. So I think a lot of people get afraid of creating this culture and afraid of taking ownership of this culture. And I was there. I used to be afraid of my employees and I'm not a passive aggressive personality anyway, but just kind of passive and not really calling it what it was. But over time and dealing with some really bad situations and watching other people struggle, I kind of fell into my groove of like how I want my organizations to run. I hire for culture first, training later. I know sometimes you need licensure, but still there are people you need to hire for culture first and then train later. You can train on a system. You can train on SOPs, standard operating procedures, but you can't train somebody to love people. So if your culture is really one of openness and caring, you need to hire that person. You can't expect them to change. So,
yeah. One of the frustrations that I see with physicians in the community of direct primary care is that they will, be desperate to hire someone because they're at the point where they need help. And so they'll put out, a listing and they'll hire someone that seems on paper like a good fit. And then interpersonal issues will arise. And I think we as physicians, we're not always well trained in how to deal with like employee problems. I mean, we're trained on how to deal with patients and sometimes quote unquote difficult patients. But when it comes to our employees, it's kind of a whole different ball game that we have to manage. And so how does a person hire someone? Let's start with how do you write a job description that attracts the right person, right? Because that's the very first step.
Yes. Okay. So this might go against the advice that other people have said about job postings, but I like to make them very long and I like to really describe what the job is like. So we're used to Chat GPT and auto-generated and crappy job postings, and yours will stand out because it's written from the heart. So And some people they just want to go be a nameless number working in a hospital somewhere. Fine. You don't want that person in your DPC. You want
Mhm.
someone who is heart-centered and ready to serve, right? So here are the main components of the perfect help wanted ad. And I'm just going to list them out and then I'll give like an example.
Okay.
So the first one is the title. Give it a fun title. So in one of my positions, I called it a superhero handyman. Okay,
Yeah.
I needed a handyman, but in my job description, I talked about why they're a superhero. It's not only do I need you to know how to use a screwdriver, but I need you to feel fulfilled when you help someone out. That's the superhero part. So give it
Mhm.
a title, like you could call it worried parent happiness specialist. I don't know, like give it some sort of like silly title. And this
Uh-huh.
isn't that your job is silly, but this is an attention getter, because if they go receptionist, 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 customer journey happiness specialist, fairy godmother, unicorn sparkle princess goddess fairy, and they're like, wait a minute, that
Uh,
job sounds different, right?
yeah.
So that's the first thing, is a really catchy title that is open, honest, fun, and clickbaity. Okay.